At another event, I know Tom Coulter represents part of your community, and I was at a thing, and the Plymouth County Democratic League had their chairs breakfast. And you know, whenever there's a change, there's hope, you know, and you have someone like Tom O'Brien, who was so wonderful, and people thought he did such a wonderful job, has moved on to the county treasurer spot. And you know, everybody acknowledges he did a good job, and when someone like Tom Coulter gets elected, there's a hope, you know, that this guy will also be great. But I conceded that at that point, there was, you know, and I don't know if people know, Tom Coulter and I were high school classmates. And I said, Tom, as much as I am holding out a lot of hope for you, I have a little bit of, I'm a little nervous as how this has started off. Because the last day that Tom O'Brien was the state rep, the governor said we had $1 billion surplus. And the day you get elected, now we got $1 billion deficit. So I think that O'Brien screwed off with the $2 billion out of the county, so hopefully that'll be okay. But we're facing some remarkably difficult fiscal times that are going to be a challenge to accomplish everything on the timetable we all want. But there is still a need to stay focused on those end goals. That's one of the things we tried to do throughout the campaign. Understand what we're here for. A lot of people now that are, maybe some who didn't really believe this could happen, a lot of them call me and, you know, it's important to them in their advocacy or their business or their area of interest where state government impacts them, for them to begin to understand how to deal with Deval Patrick. You know, what does this mean? How do I understand what's the scoop with this new guy? So they think, well, Walsh, you spent a couple of years with him. Maybe you can give me some advice. And the advice is the simplest in the world. Believe what he says. Because he's someone who won't say it for political purpose. There would have been a few times in the last couple of years that if he would, once in a while, I'd have fewer gray hairs than I have today. But the things that he committed to are things that he believes in. And there were things that would have been very easy to commit to, which he did not. So when you hear him talking about putting 1,000 new cops on the street, even though we can't do it in 1 year in this fiscal situation, we want to go down there because public safety is important and community policing has worked. When he talks about expanding to broader access to early childhood education, he means that. When he talks about reducing the pressure and eventually reducing property taxes, he's serious about that. I can't tell you that he or I or anyone at this point can lay out the step-by-step plan to get to those things. But I think you should feel comfortable, and I urge you to hold him and his administration accountable to those things. Because those ideas, those promises, those commitments that he's made are sincere, and they're real, and maybe more importantly, they are essential for us to be able to establish a sound fiscal basis for the way we fund important services. And that kind of a mix of a very, very enthusiastic and aggressive plan and the ability to execute around it is going to be important. A week or so ago, Doug Rubin, who was my partner in this effort, who was our senior consultant in the campaign, went down to the Cape to a AFL-CIO conference, and Doug had the best way to describe where we are. He said that we urge everyone to be ambitious in the goals that we set, and at the same time, at this moment, be patient, because it's going to take. It's not something that can be happened with a snap of the finger. It's not something that can be happened overnight. That can happen overnight. It's something that we all have to commit to and work through step by step. In the next couple of weeks, the governor is going to submit his first budget, which will be. I'm fascinated to see it, because it's going to be a challenging document. He's going to submit in the next few weeks a reorg plan for the executive branch of government. He's working on, I don't know the exact timetable, for a plan to reorganize the way we manage public education from early childhood through college, through public universities in Massachusetts. I tried to explain to someone, well, what does that mean? I said, well, for anybody who actually knows how we organize and administer public education in Massachusetts, ask them to explain it to you. And you will absolutely get a headache if you can live through the explanation of why we have so many different cross-purpose organizations that don't come under one mandate. And if you really dig in and why do we do this, You have to be historians to remember, well, this guy said this to him, and then they got mad at each other, and so this happened. And so that now is bedded in cement, and we have different boards and cross purposes, and in the end, no accountability to a single vision about what this should be. All those things are not necessarily the fodder of a sexy fight to accomplish them. But I want to ask all of you to really look at those plans when they come forward, because they are important. And they are important for me to ask people to get behind the governor. And when he has laid out a plan and a vision of how to accomplish those goals that he's laid out, to ask people to give him the chance to put his imprint on this government and then hold him accountable to the results that are going to come from there. We're going to have a fun time. It's not going to be, as I said in the beginning, a straight path necessarily. It's not going to be a consistently rising step, every one more successful than the next. But if we all commit to doing that, it's really important.